application looks like before we actually start inputting data into the electronic score application online. And keep in mind, for anybody who's new to this, it's an online application. But we've provided you a hard copy for your convenience so that you can open it up, make copies, and I encourage you not to write on the one that we've given you as a template in your file, because you'll take that back and replicate it and sit down with your teachers and have them own their share of the program of study. So if they want the funding, there's accountability that goes with it. Now you remember, you're the leader. You're the individual that handles the fiscal, the guidance, and the program portion of it, and you take that leadership and you develop your system back home. So the teachers have to own their portion as well, and that means they can take that framework we've developed and each one of them can write in there exactly what their request is, and that's what it is a request. And you, as the project director in the program side, will have to work with your fiscal department to decide if the mapping fits, if you really have their focus to carry out all components of their portion of their program of study. And that's what accountability is. Just like I said yesterday, these are your dollars, your taxpayer dollars, and you want to make sure. Actual application is online. Now you see the website is given. Now, I feel like I'm talking to the choir. How can I follow Dr. Stone, right? But anyway, know your labor market. This is what he talked about, mapping your community. Now, the labor data for New Mexico is written by workforce regions. There are 4 workforce regions in our state. The northern region covers 10 counties. You have the central region. That's Albuquerque, the greater metro. There's 4 counties in the central region. Then you have the southwestern corridor and the eastern corridor. There's 4 workforce areas. So when you get online and you go to the Department of Workforce Solutions laser website data, you'll see the information not by county, but by workforce area. So you're training your students for the jobs in your workforce area, which is regional. That's the right thing to do. So you have the contact here. Ashley Leach, I picked up the phone and I had a conversation with her. And I said, Ashley, it's time again for our schools, secondary, post-secondary, collectively to work together on developing and mapping their workforce region. If they get really stuck in that website, can they give you a call? Please, yes, tell them they can call me. So she already expects to hear from some of you if you really are struggling on how to get to the depth and breadth of that website. Plenty of information. I also asked, she mentioned to me, we have just put out some new publications written for high school and college students, targeted for our population. So on the back resource table, if there's any left, there some of the materials are there. They're all gone. Oh, they moved them. They are gone. Okay, make good use of these. These are just an example of what they have to offer in hard copy. They're all online. And they're also available if you want to order more. So those are available to you. They talk about high wage, high demand occupations. And they also have a career guide that was written for high school and college students. So your guidance counselor can utilize this, and the rest of you as you're writing your application. Again, we'll be watching that as we work with you in analyzing your substantial approval of your application. Know your stakeholders. I think the real challenge here is how to develop the partnership, because we know it's important. We've been talking about this for a long time. Dr. Stone hit it on the nail. He talked about, really, we need to be developing the skill set that matches where the jobs are. And there are some deficits in there, some skills gaps. And I think the challenge might be that we have a big job, and we have a big job at home. And it's difficult to juggle it all by yourself. So you don't have to do it by yourself if you learn to figure out what's the post-secondary doing. Or if the post-secondary could ask, well, let's bring the secondary sector training together. So the question might be how to do this more than you know it needs to be done and that it makes sense, and our students' outcomes depend on it. So I think what I'd like to do is get a show of hands. How many of you feel like you're doing a good job of this? Okay, there are some, and I love that because I'm looking for some best practice models so that maybe at NUMACTI we may have an opportunity to develop that a little bit more. How many would like to have a session at NUMACTI on how to do a better job of that? Is there a show of hands on that too? We want to figure out how we can support you, and we need to hear from you where your needs are and how we can best support you on those workshops. So we're open to hearing from you. Integrating career technical ed. Again, taking a look at secondary and post-secondary alignment. How can you do that deeper in your application? That's going to be extremely critical. We talked yesterday about reauthorizations, going to be asking for more and seeing that go deeper. So continue to find your leadership in your industry sector at your secondary, post-secondary, and develop that a little bit stronger. Get your alignment strengthened. Of course, you know you're going to be looking at your course sequence. Now, when it talks about integrating your graduation requirements, yes, we do have graduation requirements. But what graduation requirement course can they take that matches that curriculum or that alignment? That's important to work with your guidance department. Instead of just filling in a template and say, well, let's just drop all the graduation requirements first and then take it to all of our teachers and have them fill the elective courses in, that might not make the most sense. And we look at that and wonder, well, why are they choosing that math when it might be more of a trades math that might make more sense? So think about which math they have to take. Although they have to take 4 maths, make sure it matches to the program of study. Academic work-based support. So when you're looking at what can we do to build out the work-based activities, I want you to go a little bit deeper there. And as you talk to your business and industry, push them to help you with that piece. Dr. Stone talked about expanding the classroom activity by bringing in industry to discuss some portion of the curriculum. I'll have to tell you on the mentorship and internship, the time is ripe for that. I happen to sit on the Job Training Incentive Program Board, and there are incentives for employers right now to bring in internships. So ask. That's all you have to do is ask your business and industry community, what can you do to help us strengthen the work-based activity portion? And I think if you ask them for your juniors and your seniors or your students that are getting ready to complete, is there an opportunity for some internships? You may encourage them to do more of that. Obviously, the student guidance at the onset is critical. So talking about working towards academic success and working around the career cluster framework with your guidance counselor. And the STARS course codes are written around the career clusters, so it's really important to understand that framework. And for those of you, you all have those resources in your handout on what the framework looks like. So when you write your application, some of the first questions are going to be, which career cluster are you going to be applying for? And which state cluster are you going to be applying it to? And that crosswalk is in your resource. And the other thing that we ask about is the pathway. So if you get stuck on that, let us help you, but most of the information is right in here. And we're really trying to make sure that the framework